Hello, my amazing students, and welcome back to Daily English. I'm Alex, and I'm here with my co-host, Emma. Today, we're diving into one of the most interesting and practical topics in conversational English, expressing romantic feelings and asking someone out. Whether you're learning English for travel, making new connections, or just improving your communication skills, today's lesson will give you the tools to sound natural and confident.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma, and I'm so excited about today's episode. We're going to explore real phrases that native speakers use when talking about relationships and romance. These aren't textbook phrases. These are authentic expressions you'll hear in movies, TV shows, and real conversations. By the end of this podcast, you'll understand how to express emotions naturally and recognize these phrases when you hear them.
Exactly. And here's what makes this episode special. We're not just going to explain these phrases theoretically. Emma and I are actually going to act out a romantic scenario where I confess my feelings to her. It's going to be a bit awkward and fun, but it'll show you exactly how these phrases work in real conversations.
Oh, wow, Alex. Are you really going to do this? Okay, everyone buckle up because this is going to be interesting. We'll perform the conversation first, then break down every single phrase so you can understand and use them yourself.
All right, let me set the scene for our listeners. Emma and I are going to pretend we're two close friends who have known each other for many years. I've been hiding romantic feelings for a long time, and today I'm finally going to be honest about those feelings. We're at a restaurant, and Emma thinks we're meeting our whole group of friends for dinner. But I have something different planned. Ready, Emma?
Ready. Let's do this.
Okay, here we go. Hey, Emma, you're early.
Hey, yeah, I got here a few minutes ago. Where is everyone else? Are we the first ones here?
Well, I told them not to come. I made a reservation just for the two of us. I thought we could have a quiet evening all to ourselves.
Oh, why? What's going on, Alex? You're acting strange.
Emma, there's something I want to ask you. Something I've been meaning to tell you for a while now.
Sure, what is it? You're making me nervous.
Okay, here's the thing. I've always seen you as more than just a friend, and I can't take it anymore. I know you better than anyone. I know the good things and bad things about your personality. I even know which side of the bed you sleep on. I think we would be great together. Don't you?
Wait, are you serious? Alex, we've been friends for years. We can't just change that overnight.
I know it sounds crazy. I never had the guts to tell you until today. So, what do you say? Are you willing to give me a shot?
I I don't know what to say. This is so unexpected. I need some time to think about this.
Okay, wow, that was intense. Emma, how are you feeling right now?
Honestly, my heart is racing even though we're just acting. That was a really powerful conversation, and I can imagine how nervous someone would be in real life saying those things. The phrases you used were so natural and authentic.
Right? Even pretending to confess feelings is nerve-wracking. But this is exactly the kind of conversation that happens in English-speaking countries. Now, let's break down every phrase I used so our listeners can understand them completely and use them in their own English speaking.
Yes, let's analyze this conversation phrase by phrase. Students, the expressions you just heard are incredibly valuable, not just for romantic situations, but for many different contexts in English. Let's start from the beginning.
The very first key phrase I used was, "Here's the thing." This is one of those magical expressions that native English speakers use constantly in everyday conversation. When someone says, "Here's the thing," they're introducing the most important point or the main information they want to share. It's like a signal that says, "Okay, now I'm going to tell you what's really going on," or "Let me be honest with you."
It's such a useful phrase. You can use it in so many situations. For example, imagine your friend asks you to help them move to a new apartment. You might say, I'd love to help you, but here's the thing. I threw out my back last week and my doctor told me not to lift anything heavy. Or imagine your boss asks why you were late to work. You could say, I'm really sorry. Here's the thing. There was a major accident on the highway and traffic was completely stopped for an hour.
Or maybe you're trying to explain something to your parents. You could say, I know you want me to become a lawyer, but here's the thing. I'm really passionate about music and I want to pursue that instead. See how it works? It introduces the real issue, the core truth, or the most important piece of information. In my confession to Emma, I used it to introduce my true feelings after building up to that moment.
It definitely got my attention. Now let's talk about the next phrase. I can't take it anymore. Alex, when you said this, it really conveyed how much emotion you were feeling. This expression is full of intensity. When someone says, I can't take it anymore, they're communicating that they've reached their absolute breaking point. They can't tolerate or endure something any longer.
Exactly. This phrase appears in many different contexts in English. Let me give you some examples. Imagine someone whose neighbor plays extremely loud music every single night. After weeks of sleepless nights, they might finally snap and say, I can't take it anymore, I'm calling the police. Or think about someone working in a really toxic environment. They might tell their spouse, my boss humiliates me in front of everyone every day. I can't take it anymore, I'm quitting tomorrow.
Or someone dealing with chronic pain might say, this migraine has been going on for 4 days straight. I can't take it anymore. I need to go to the emergency room. The phrase shows you've reached your limit, emotionally, physically, or mentally. In your confession, you used it to express that keeping your romantic feelings secret had become unbearable.
Right. The emotional weight of hiding my feelings was too heavy to carry any longer. I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to be honest, regardless of the consequences. Now, Emma, let's talk about your response. You said, are you serious? This is such a common phrase in modern English.
Oh, yes. When I said, are you serious? I was expressing complete shock and disbelief. This phrase is basically asking, is this really true? Or did I actually hear you correctly? It's so common in everyday English, and it can express different emotions depending on your tone of voice: excitement, surprise, concern, or shock.
Let me give our listeners some examples. If your friend calls you and says, I just got accepted into Harvard, you might respond enthusiastically, are you serious? That's incredible. Congratulations. Or if your coworker suddenly announces, I'm moving to Australia next week, you'd probably say with surprise, are you serious? That's so sudden. When did you decide this?
Or imagine your roommate tells you, I accidentally left the stove on all day and almost started a fire. You might say with concern, are you serious? Oh my God, is everything okay? The tone completely changes the meaning. In our conversation, I said it with genuine shock because hearing Alex confess romantic feelings was completely unexpected.
You definitely sounded shocked. Now let's talk about another phrase I used. I never had the guts to tell you. The expression to have guts means to possess courage or bravery to do something difficult or scary. It's a colorful, informal way of talking about courage that native speakers love using.
And here's an interesting linguistic fact for our listeners. The word gut literally means your internal organs, your stomach, intestines, and so on. But in this idiomatic expression, guts symbolizes courage and bravery. The idea is that true courage comes from deep within you, from your core. When you have guts, you have inner strength. When you don't have guts, you lack the courage to face something challenging.
Let me give you some real-life examples. Someone afraid of heights might say, my friends went bungee jumping last weekend, but I don't have the guts to do it. Just thinking about it makes me feel sick.
Or imagine someone who's been working at the same company for 10 years and feels underpaid. They might say, I know I deserve a salary increase, but I don't have the guts to ask my boss. What if he gets angry?
Or picture someone who loves to sing but is terrified of performing. They might say, I sing in my room all the time, but I don't have the guts to audition for the talent show. I get too nervous in front of crowds.
In your confession, Alex, you admitted you never had the guts to tell me your feelings until today. You were afraid of rejection, afraid of ruining our friendship, afraid of making everything awkward.
Exactly, but I finally found the courage to be completely honest. Now, let's look at another phrase I used earlier, just for the two of us. This expression means you and me, only these two people and nobody else. It emphasizes exclusivity and creates a sense of intimacy and privacy.
What makes this phrase really versatile is that you can change the number for any situation. You can say the three of us, the four of us, the five of us, and so on. It specifies exactly who you're talking about. For example, you might tell your siblings, let's keep this surprise party a secret between the three of us. Don't tell anyone else.
Or, when planning a road trip with friends, you could say, I think the four of us should rent a car together to split the cost. Or at work, you might say, let's have a private meeting with just the five of us before we present to the entire department. In our conversation, when I said I made a reservation just for the two of us, it showed my intention to have a private, intimate evening without other friends around.
It definitely set a romantic mood. Now let's talk about another phrase, all to ourselves. When you have something all to yourself or all to ourselves, it means you have it completely alone without sharing with others. It emphasizes privacy and exclusivity even more strongly than just for the two of us.
Let me give you some practical examples. Imagine your roommates go on vacation for a week. You might happily say, finally, I have the entire apartment all to myself. I can walk around in my pajamas all day. Or maybe you and your partner arrive at a beautiful beach very early in the morning, before anyone else. You might say, look at this. We have the whole beach all to ourselves. It's so peaceful and romantic. Or perhaps someone is being selfish with dessert. He wants to keep all the cake to himself. He won't share even one slice with us. In your invitation, Alex, having a quiet evening all to ourselves suggested a romantic, private setting where we could talk openly, without distractions or interruptions.
Exactly. It was about creating the perfect atmosphere for an important conversation. Now here's another meaningful phrase I used. I've always seen you as more than just a friend. The key part here is seen you as, which describes how you perceive someone or think about them. It's about your view or opinion of that person's role in your life.
You can use this phrase in many different contexts, not just romantic ones. For example, you might tell a colleague, I've always seen you as a natural leader. You should apply for the management position. Or you could explain a relationship by saying, she sees him as a father figure because her own dad passed away when she was young. Or maybe you'd tell your mentor, you've always seen potential in me, even when I doubted myself, and I'm so grateful for that. Or in a different context, my grandparents have always seen hard work as the key to success. It's all about perception and how you categorize people or things in your mind. In our conversation, when I said I've always seen you as more than just a friend, it was a gentle way of confessing romantic feelings.
It was definitely clear what you meant. Now let's examine the final key phrase. Are you willing to give me a shot? When you give someone a shot, you give them a chance or opportunity to try something or prove themselves. It's asking for an opportunity even if the outcome is uncertain.
This phrase is extremely common in English. Let me give you some examples. Imagine you're interviewing for a job, but you don't have much experience. You might say to the employer, I know I'm young and my resume isn't impressive yet, but if you give me a shot, I promise I'll be the hardest working employee you've ever had.
Or maybe you're trying to convince your friend to try a new restaurant they're skeptical about. You could say, I know you don't usually like Thai food, but just give this place a shot. Their curry is amazing. You might be surprised. Or picture a sports coach evaluating players for a team. He was smaller than the other players, but I decided to give him a shot. Now he's our top scorer.
In our conversation, when I asked Emma, are you willing to give me a shot? I was asking for a chance to explore a romantic relationship. I was saying, I know this is unexpected and maybe risky, but would you be open to trying this and seeing where it goes? It's humble, hopeful, and shows vulnerability.
It was a very sweet and honest way to ask.
Now, before we wrap up this episode, I want to talk about an interesting cultural aspect related to our conversation. In many cultures around the world, there's a very formal moment when someone officially asks another person to become their boyfriend or girlfriend. Right, Alex?
Exactly. In some cultures, there's a clear conversation where someone says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" or "Will you be my boyfriend?" And the relationship officially begins at that specific moment. But in most English-speaking countries, especially among adults, this formal conversation doesn't typically happen anymore.
That's right. Instead, romantic relationships tend to develop gradually and naturally over time. People go on dates, spend time together, maybe they kiss, and after a while, they simply understand that they're in an exclusive relationship without having a formal defining the relationship conversation.
However, there's some interesting history here. About 30 or 40 years ago in English-speaking countries, there was a tradition called going steady. When someone wanted to be in an exclusive relationship, they would ask, "Will you go steady with me?" This meant, let's be a committed couple and not date other people.
This tradition has mostly disappeared in modern times. Today, relationships usually develop organically, without a specific moment marking the official beginning. Among teenagers and high school students, sometimes these formal conversations still happen, but even then it's becoming less common.
Of course, every culture handles this differently, and that's what makes learning about language and culture so fascinating. We'd love to hear from our listeners. How do romantic relationships begin in your culture? Is there a formal conversation? Send us a message on social media or leave a comment on our YouTube channel.
Now, let's do a quick review of all the phrases we covered today, because these are incredibly valuable for your English speaking. First, here's the thing. Use this to introduce the main point or most important information. Second, I can't take it anymore. This expresses that you've reached your limit. Third, are you serious? This communicates surprise or disbelief.
Fourth, have the guts. This means to have courage or bravery. Fifth, the two of us. This emphasizes a specific group of people. Sixth, all to ourselves, having something exclusively. Seventh, seen you as, how you perceive someone. And finally, give me a shot, asking for a chance or opportunity.
These phrases will make your English sound so much more natural and fluent. I encourage you to practice using them. Try creating your own example sentences. Record yourself speaking them out loud and listen back. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
And remember, making mistakes is completely normal and part of the learning process. Every time you practice, you're improving and getting closer to fluency. Also, pay attention to these phrases when you're watching English movies or TV shows. Now that you know what to listen for, you'll start hearing these expressions everywhere.
That's the beauty of learning authentic, natural English. Once you recognize these patterns, you'll notice them constantly in real communication. Before we end today's episode, I want to encourage you to practice what you learned. Language learning isn't just about understanding, it's about actually using the language.
Create your own example sentences with these phrases. Challenge yourself to use at least 2 or 3 of these expressions in your English practice this week. The more you actively use them, the faster they'll become a natural part of your vocabulary. Speaking practice is so important.
Don't worry about making mistakes. That's how you learn. Even native speakers made thousands of mistakes when they were learning to speak as children. Mistakes are proof that you're trying, and trying is how you improve.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your questions, comments, or stories on social media. Tell us which phrase was your favorite from today's episode, or share how romantic relationships begin in your culture. We're genuinely curious about your experiences.
Thank you so much for listening to Daily English today. We hope this episode helped you understand romantic expressions and useful everyday phrases. Remember, these phrases aren't just for romantic situations. Many of them can be used in regular conversations about friendship, work, family, and everyday life.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already, and leave us a 5-star review. It really helps other English learners find our show. Share this episode with your friends who are also learning English. Learning together makes the journey more fun and motivating.
Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's built through consistent practice, one episode at a time, one phrase at a time, one conversation at a time. You're doing amazing by being here and investing in your English skills.
Keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in your ability to master English. You're making progress every single day, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every word you learn, every phrase you practice, every episode you listen to is bringing you closer to your goals.
We're so proud of you for being here and for committing to your English learning journey. Until next time, happy learning.
Goodbye, everyone. Keep up the great work, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye. Keep speaking English with confidence.